back in the pantry again. Like I said, it's going to take weeks. So we're on week 4 of Mama G's pantry tour. So we'll just keep going. We are archiving these so you can go back and look at everything. But it's been a good eye-opener for me to see what I've got in here, see what I need, a good opportunity to explain to all of you why I have what I said. And I think what I want to keep reiterating is yes, I have a very large pantry, so I can have lots of things in here, but there are certainly things that you should have in your pantry, whether it's a shelf, whether it's a shelving in your garage before you walk in, whether it's a little closet, whatever it looks like. There are just certain things that you should have in stock in your house, kind of like the grocery store. Not too much, not too little, but just the right amount. So we're going to keep going. I had gone through all of my kind of canned products here. I'm trying to think. We had gone down all of these as well, because I talked about all of the different rices and lentils and beans that I have in here. Again, you don't need 2,000 things like I do, but over the years, you know, I've just started to cook with a lot of different items. I like to try different things. I like to encourage my clients to have a wide variety of nutrients in their life, and so if I can produce recipes with these different things, then guess what? My clients can utilize them in their everyday life. So I don't think I talked too much about this drawer. In here, we started to get into more of the starches, grains, those kind of things. So quinoa's in here. It's an interesting texture. Don't look at it if you have an issue with like patterns and squiggly things, which I do and a couple of my kids do. But it really is a nice texture. It has a little bit of a crunch to it. You can cook it ahead of time. You can freeze portions of it. It's great in salads. Nice starch grain added to your life as well. And they have different colors, white quinoa and red quinoa. Don't worry about what it is, just enjoy it. I don't know if you've ever had bulgur wheat, but it's a wheat that, I don't know if you can see this, Mindy. It's basically a wheat kernel that's, you know, thicker, right? And it's really nice. You can cook it with little broth. You can saute a little olive oil and some veggies or herbs, and then you put this in there with water or broth in there, and it's really delightful. We see a lot of it in the Middle Eastern culture. But I have that in my pantry, and I like these little containers that I can get at Sprouts. They have lots of different things like this, so you could just buy a few new ones, you know, try them out. If you like them, keep them in your rotation. What else do I have in here? So polenta. So polenta is another one of those. It's basically ground corn, right? And there's different textures to it.
Spelling out the side.
Oh yeah, it's still out the side. The polenta, which they also call corn grits, is more grainy, all right? So we love to cook polenta and then to put like a 40-clove garlic chicken over it, or like a Hungarian paprika chicken where you have a lot of sauce and deliciousness in it. So you could do that, but we also have cornmeal, which if we look at this, and we use this, you know, for making cornbreads and different things like this, but this is much more fine, almost like a flour. So different textures will give you different products, but you can certainly make polenta out of any of those things. You might have seen the polenta in a little bit of like a sausage, you know, thing where you could actually slice it, but we Italians, we like to make it au naturel, and honestly, I add water. I could add chicken broth to it or vegetable broth to it, and then we'll add a little Parmigiano Reggiano with our sauce and our protein and our veggies mixed in, and it's just delightful. Pearl barley, here's another kind of whole grain going on here. There's just so many things. Farro, if you haven't had farro before, just really beautiful. What else do we got in here? I got some rice that needs to go up here. I got some rice that needs to go up there. But all kinds of things in here. We've got some split peas. We've got some more farro, all kinds of delightfulness. So, again, I have way more than I need, but the point is that I want you to think about variety in your kitchen and variety of using these beautiful whole grains. Because remember, when we're on that punitive, restrictive diet approach and we get rid of all carbs, these carbohydrates are not the carbohydrates we're talking about getting rid of. We're talking about the refined, the white, the sugar, all of those things that give us a little nutrition. These things should be part of every lifestyle approach, every nutrition approach, and no longer to be punitive and restrictive in your life anymore. I've definitely shown you that I have multitudes of whole grain, whole wheat pasta, and you will see very few white pastas in my house. Because why? why would I not want to get more fiber, potentially more nutrition within these particular products? But I will tell you, if your kids or you or your husband or your wife or wherever you want doesn't really like whole grain, whole wheat pastas, well, number one, I say start to split the difference, right? So you get a whole wheat spaghetti, you get a regular pasta with wheat flour, not whole wheat, and you split the difference, right? And we start to incorporate it that way. You could do the same thing with brown rice and white rice, although you cannot cook them at the same time, so don't get any ideas there. But point being is the wheat versions are all enriched. The white rice is enriched. And they started enriching these products back in the 50s when they started making these products and realizing that we as a society were missing out on nutrition because we were no longer getting these whole grain versions of things. So they started to enrich them with different vitamins and minerals that we as a society were lacking. So when you use this, the whole grain versions of it, you know you're getting a little bit more nutrition, but the goal is across the board, more plants in your life, more partnering it with produce, vegetables, will get more fiber, more nutrition across the board, and hopefully you'll start to appreciate the textures and the beauty within all of these. So I have every potential possibility out there. Some I buy at my local grocery store. Sprouts has a large variety, but I also will tell you I buy a large portion on Amazon. This is my absolute favorite. It is the Garfola, and I think I said it last week, which you can see it. It's the whole wheat parpadelli. You can find this nowhere but on Amazon, but boy, this is a beautiful, beautiful noodle. So, peruse the aisles, look at different stores, pick up things along the way, and like me, like Mama G, you'll have a variety of things in your life as well. Let's continue for a few more minutes because I think we're almost done for the day. My clients will often say, well, can I just buy a marinara in a jar? And I said, absolutely. The key is to learn how to read the label. So I'll have to do a nutrition, a label reading webinar for all of you in the near future, but it's critical. When you see the color, all the little things on here, USDA organic, non-GMO, dairy-free, okay. These are all things to entice you to buy their product, right? Zero added sugar. I will caution you to stay away from the bright colors and to simply pay attention to two things. One is the ingredient label and one is the nutrition label. And when you can understand how to read this, you then know what's inside of here rather than people trying to bully you by all the bright, shiny, lovely objects on the outside. It's just like taking your kids down the cereal aisle in the grocery store, right? Beware. Because what are they going to look for? The things that have the free toy. Do they even do that anymore? The bright colors, all of those fun things. So bottom line here is I tell my clients, first ingredient, tomatoes. Second ingredient, likely water, maybe some olive oil in there. But, when we come right down to it, it's really mostly tomatoes, a little bit of olive oil, which is lovely to add flavor, a little bit of seasonings in there, and we're good to go. A lot of times my clients will show me pictures of their marinaras and they're 50, 60, 70% fat. Well, guess what? You got to pick your poison. So I would rather inject my fat into a recipe in the cooking process rather than have it in the marinara, and that's the end of that. So be careful on all of those things. Always have a bunch of condiments. People say, well, mustard this and blah. Don't worry about it. How much are you using? A tablespoon or two. There's nothing inherently wrong with any of it. Same things when you're looking at tomato paste. People are like, or tomato sauce. Can I just make my own? Stick to basics ingredients, right? This one has tomatoes. It's got some vinegar. It's got some sugar in it. It's got some spices in it. A little tomato ketchup on your burger, on your fries. Delicioso, right? Enjoy yourself. So lots of that kind of things. I always keep shelf stable soy milk in my pantry. Now, I do enjoy the vanilla soy milk. This is sweetened. I happen to buy this one at Costco. And really, what is it? Soy milk, come from soybeans, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of things to kind of stabilize it and thicken it a little bit. But it's nice to have it in my pantry. Don't always have a lot of room in the refrigerator to store lots of things. Several people in the house use it. So it's nice to have that in here as well. And then I always have broths in here as well, right? So trying to choose low sodium, Again, basic ingredients, right? Just water and onions and carrots and celery. These are basic for a vegetable broth. I'll always have an occasional chicken broth and beef broth, just in case I needed if I'm perusing a recipe. But bottom line is, little by little, you start to build your grocery store, your pantry, whatever that might look like, with real wholesome ingredients, and then you too can feed your family delicious and nutritious food. We will see you next week. Let me just remind you of this. We just started our free webinar series for the month of March. We meet every Tuesday. Every single session is recorded. So if you haven't joined us, we met last night, you can still sign on. Go to my link in my bio, sign up for that. We'll get you the information to register. You will get recipes every week. You will get a meal plan. You will get a shopping list. You will get lots of tips on how to incorporate more real wholesome food into your life. You'll have a free cooking class with Mama G, and then perhaps at the end of it, you'll walk away with information you never had to help bring real wholesome food to your family. And if not, you want more information from Mama G, we actually started a new 12-week program on April 1st called, what is it called, Mindy? Cooking Your Way, right? The Jumpstart Cooking Your Way to Health, Way, W-E-I-G-H, to health. You know what Mama G always says? Not about your lose, folks. All about what you gain. Have a beautiful day.